Hello everybody, I'm back with another video for you today, and this time we're going to be looking at Northern Realms, a little bit of Foltest action, which is a leader that I haven't played, nor have I showcased for a very long time. With good reason, he's considered to be pretty weak, but I think I found a list that's pretty okay. I've seen other people maybe playing quite similar decks as well to this one with Foltest, and they seem to be not too bad. Now, I'm not going to deceive you, I don't think this is the best deck ever, nor is it probably the best deck for Northern Realms, but it's a competent way to play Northern Realms, I think, and it definitely does have some good matchups, particularly things like Monsters, Beastmaster Skellige as well, because you're running a couple of special cards that can really deal with those kind of decks. A little bit of a tougher matchup against Skellige, which is probably the best faction at the moment, so not the strongest deck ever by any means, but it's still pretty decent, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. There's some pretty cool combinations of cards that you're running in this deck that can pull off some, crazy amounts of points, some nice finisher value, etc. So let's run through those, of course, as we usually do, and then play some games afterwards. So what are we running in this Foltest deck? Well, the primary kind of package in the bronzes is your playing both Blue Stripe Scouts, Commandos, and sort of a mage package as well with Spellweavers and Sorceresses. You also have Trebuchets plus Lacerate, pretty good combination of cards in Northern Realms for those long rounds, hopefully. We have Strays of Spala to help to activate those as well, since we're not running any spying units like in the Henselt deck. We kind of need the movement potentially to get value on those a little bit more. We also have Artificers to protect our engines a little bit, and also to synergize very nicely with Selkirk and with Prince Anseys, which you can give Zeal to both of them with King Foltest, along with potentially a shield to make them double their dual damage, which is quite powerful if you're playing against decks with big units. Otherwise, not necessarily that great, but the Artificers do also work well with Windtown, which we are running for a very powerful engine. Some decks can't ping for one or two very often, and if you're able to get him rolling, maybe give him a shield once or twice, then he's actually very powerful. In fact, I won a game pretty much solely due to him, today actually. So there's a couple of cool stuff going on there. We also have Pavetta to work well with the Blue Stripe Commandos, and one combo we can do is with Queen Adalia. You can copy a Commando in hand, shield it, play all your Blue Stripes out. We even have Reinforcements as well to play another Blue Stripe Scout. This is the main combo of the deck, Commandos and Scouts. So you can play 3 Scouts onto Blue Stripe Commando safely, because it's been shielded by Adalia, and you'll still have a Commando in hand, which you can then use later in round 2 or 3, after playing Pavetta to shuffle back the Commandos into your deck. You can use the one in hand to, use a Foltest proc, immediately pull out 4, potentially, Blue Stripes, Commandos, and get a ton of points. Very powerful finisher when it works. A little bit vulnerable to Gimpy, but if you save it for the last play, it's very nice. It is a little bit inconsistent to get all the Scouts and the Commandos and the Adalia in hand at once, so not always working. The alternative for Adalia is using it on a Spellweaver, shielding it and getting maybe 2 or 3 Spellweavers down in one turn. They're going to synergize off of each other, of course, along with other mages. We do have Sheila, there's another mage option there. Regis, as I was talking about, is very powerful against some decks, weaker against others, but against things like Woodland Spirit, you can just completely wreck their finisher with this card, especially if you have Last Say, so that's very nice. Really gives you a nice way to deal with monsters in long rounds. Other than that, we have Ocvis for the long round, very nice with Foltest, obviously. You can instantly get the value. We have the Botchling, of course, very good card. We have Vest to activate Zeals if we need it. But mainly you're going to focus on just saving 3 good cards for Foltest for later in the game, potentially getting the Commandos in the deck, reshuffled back, and then pulling them out, as well as, going for a bit of long round value with potentially some engines and some shielded dueling units. So quite a lot of cool stuff going on with this deck. As I said, not the best deck ever, but it is definitely a fun one, and I don't think it's too weak. By any means, have won quite a few games with it. So let's jump into a game or two and see if we can win one now. Okay, and we're going to be up against Bruverhoog. Should be a pretty interesting matchup. I haven't really seen that many Bruvers around, but I do think it's potentially a strong leader for Squirtle. So with the mulligan, we do have Windtown with the Artificers. We don't have Blue Stripes and all that stuff, so that's maybe a bit of a downside to the hand, but we can get rid of a Sorceress here. Doesn't really have any synergy going on, and then get rid of the Blue Stripes since we don't have the synergy to work with it. Reinforcements, okay, whatever, not going to do too much here. We can probably get rid of Strays as well, since they'll most likely play into Trebuchet anyway with their Agitators or whatever. And we can probably start with Windhelm, just get him trucking, get him rolling. If he gets damaged, we can then throw out the Artificers, and that's hopefully how we'll be winning round 1. You know, ideally we won't be playing a tutorial removal or whatever. That does present a pretty good opportunity to Trebuchet. We're not going to ever feel like we need to hold on to them like we maybe would with Henselt, because of course we don't need to pull another one out of the deck, right? So we can use those just as, you know, decent engine in round 1 here, maybe in later rounds as well. Although, you know, typically our later round, we want that to just be, you know, mainly, I guess, focused on other things, gold cards in particular. We do have quite a lot of bronzes in deck, so we don't want to overextend here by playing too many golds, but, you know, 1 or 2 might be fine. We could probably boost this Trebuchet. I don't think there's a problem with that. And then we could even copy the Trebuchet. I don't even mind it. You know, this card can be a bit clunky later on. Getting the double Treb out, 4 points per turn, is going to be quite hard for the opponent to overcome. You know, if they're wanting to stay in this round and even win it. And that is a card. Not sure quite what. Maybe Crushing Trap or something. We can probably go Artificer here, as we don't really need the card, and we can shield up one of our engines and probably keep it alive. You know, maybe they're trying to destroy our Trebuchet or something with that Crushing Trap. By not playing it on the range row, we're also, you know, negating a bit of that value, hopefully. And our hand right now is pretty good, so we've got all these golds that we can slam down later on. Maybe Prince Anse's, you can often use him as just the, you know, the Zeal effect and do 4 damage or whatever. We are going to get the pass here, which is pretty damn nice. So we just completely outpowered him with, you know, 1 gold and a few bronzes. I guess reinforcements are gold as well, but doesn't really count, does it? 6 provision card. Either way, pretty good result. Now the one issue is we haven't kind of done any blue stripes shenanigans, which is something we would want to do. We can maybe try to do it in this round now. So we'll get rid of Artificer. We kind of like the shield with the dual guys, but I don't think they're going to play any big units for them. Could also get rid of the strays, because movement's not going to be a big deal. So probably playing a blue stripe here is okay. We can try to just pull them out, and then I guess we're going to mulligan away the scouts in round 3. We're not going to go for that combo this game. As I said, it's a bit of an unreliable one to make work. If it was reliable, then honestly this kind of leader, this kind of deck would probably be very, very good. But as it stands, a little bit hard to make it work consistently. Let's play the Tormented Mage. Wait, Damn Sorceress? Whatever, same difference. And yeah, we'll go for that. And then we can probably take a pass, since we're not going to really get, you know, much from them here. We're going to end up bleeding ourselves and probably losing a card if we push. Now we do have to deal with Bruiser, but there's only 1 Crushing Trap most likely, so I'm not too scared of their long round. And this is kind of a nice pickup. The Spellweaver with Adalia is good. We can get rid of Scout, of course. We could keep Strays. It's not even that bad with Lacerate, but we could also mulligan it. We've kind of got a good couple of cards in the deck that we might want, so it's probably worth taking a mulligan, and that's not even bad because it's a mage. So overall, pretty okay hand. We have a lot of long round potentially here, and we can start with that Vest just to deal with Isengrim. Bit of a weird play for the turn 1 there, but sure. And then we're going to basically spam mages. I really like the kind of double purpose of Adalia in this deck. It's either you end up playing a mage deck, or you end up playing a blue stripe deck, either or, and it's pretty neat in my opinion how that works. So we'll go for that now, I think. Shouldn't be a reason not to, really. I'm going to get the engines on the board, and hopefully hard to remove as well. And we're going to probably give Zeal to these 3 cards, probably avoiding the Prince, because he can give himself Zeal if he needs it. And yeah, not too much of a worry. Okay, we can play another Spellweaver now. I'm going to try not to row stack too much, of course, because of Crushing Trap or whatever that they might have. And, you know, we can probably damage this by 1. I don't think we need to shoot twice. They can kill one of these, right, but not both, so it would just kind of be a waste. Okay, never mind, they can kill both. I take it back. Scorching Bruiser, a bit of a weird one, but okay. Fair enough. Guess we can go Pavetta now. Just a card to get rid of. That was pretty painful, but we are still ahead by 4 points right now. Will it stay that way is the question. Interesting cards. Interesting cards indeed. Okay, going to be a Swordmaster. I think that's a pretty damn good Selkirk target, although we could Regis it and then Sorceress if we're worried about the value on the Regis not being that high. I am a little bit worried about that, to be quite honest with you. But at the same time, this is such a clean and efficient way to kill the Swordmaster. I think we should just take it. I'm sure we'll get some value from Regis, even if it's a small amount. We should be getting some at some point, and we're like way ahead now, so it's not feeling too bad. There's Professional. Okay, so Sorceress seems okay here. Not going to be particularly good. We could also play the Prince on the back row. I kind of don't mind that. And since we're not getting the, the Foltest charge on him anyway, it's hard for them to deal 5 damage. They probably can, but we're not really missing out on much since Lacerate and Octvist are going to hit these units anyway. And kind of, deal with those. So, going to be left up though anyway. Interesting. So I guess we can play it. But yeah, there's not really any units on the board here for us to deal with. We could Lacerate this. I guess we'd do it, honestly. Yeah, I guess we'd do it. Lacerate's going to be pretty bad anyway, and we're just going to take away from Sorceress value if we don't play it there, so... That's a dead Yaven. I mean, we're removing all of the stuff they have, which is probably a good thing. And if they try to boost with Bruva, then Regis will say no to that. They do have a scary amount of points tied up in the leader, but our last 2 cards aren't by any means bad, especially if they're playing boosts, such as with Gregoire. Now, I do believe we have to damage this with Octvist first, the shield that is, because Drain on the higher Vampire actually counts as damage, so the shield would block it. So we'll have to go with the Octvist first, that's fine. And then we can obviously drain the Gregoire as our last play being pretty chunky. 16-point play. Plus an extra point from Foltest, and that's going to be game. I mean, I don't think they even had it. I don't know what that deck was, but it seemed pretty damn clunky. Foltest seems to be a little bit better. Anyway, let's jump into another game and see if we can win again. Alright, up next going to be Anna Henrietta. Blue coin again. We'll see how this turns out. Anna's honestly quite a scary one, especially against Foltest where you have, a fair amount of engines that you want to get value out of. Could probably mulligan one of these trebuchets here. We do have Blue Stripes stuff going on, which is cool. We can get rid of the Sorceress as well, I think. And then either the Strays or the Artificer, but, Artificer with Windhelm's pretty okay, so Strays it is, I think. We could probably start with Artificer if we don't want to go Windhelm. Windhelm, probably better, right? Probably a better opener here. We can go for that. We don't have a Dahlia, so we can't shield the Commando, unfortunately. But maybe we end up just playing it anyway this round. Using a Dahlia on the Spellweavers later on, not too bad, so we might go for that route, we'll see. Nausicaa, botching is a pretty good answer to that. Just start pinging it, I guess, every turn. Yes, we're committing a couple of good cards here, but, we'll be able to bleed with this kind of Commando combo in round 2, potentially, which is nice. And we're going to eat a lock there, which is pretty okay. We can probably go Sheila, but I'm maybe resistant. I don't want to commit too hard here, so I think Trebuchet is probably a better play. Start pinging the back row, of course, and put the fear of the Trebuchet into them. Might make them row stack later on and give us Lacerate value if we draw into it. Looks like Windhelm is gonna get kind of wrecked here though by stuff, which it is what it is. Not much we can do about that. We could play the Commando if we want to do the thinning and play the Scout and whatnot. It does kind of weaken that combo for later on. We could also just take a pass. I don't mind that too much, but I don't love it either. It's going to put control of the game in their hands, which probably isn't too great of a thing. We definitely want to play one more because then we get the tactical advantage points, right? Honestly, Prince Ansays and killing Nilfgaardian Knight isn't too bad, but it is quite a big commitment, so I think I'm just going to go with the Centurion Artificer here, to be honest. And we'll boost it as well. Just get rid of that bronze. Not going to be too amazing, I don't think, in this particular game. But we'll see. Maybe it is useful on the dual guys against stuff like Gregoire or whatever later. Maybe we get punished for that. Whatever, it's probably okay. Going to be a Regis onto the Trebuchet. And Roach coming out, so it's getting a little bit scarier. They can make a 15-point swing basically at the moment, which is no small amount of points. So I think we're probably going to pass and just be safe here. against a Leo or a Peter or whatever. Get that resource from them and then move on. We didn't get too much here from them, and we did, you know, play a couple of golds, but I think it's probably okay. We can definitely be resistant to a bleed, and our long round's never bad with Okvist and, you know, tools like that. Okay, strays are here. We can say no to them, I think. Damn Sorceress I don't necessarily mind keeping. I mean, it's not a good card though, so probably worth getting rid of. It's just maybe we want to play on this round to, if, you know, if they dry pass or whatever. But I think we're okay. So do we Queen Adalia here? I kind of do want to do that. But then is it really worth it? I don't know, maybe we just want to use her on other stuff later on. Let's play this and then probably play Blue Stripe as well. You know, it's a bit risky because if they choose to remove this, then we end up having kind of a dead card or two in hand, or three. So maybe Queen Adalia was a bit safer, or rather even Vess was a safe play, but they're probably going to go for the pass there most of the time, right? And since we want to proc the order, we can, you know, play this in the deck. And set up a Pavetta, which, you know, isn't very meaningful, but I suppose it's fun. Or whatever. So we really want a Spellweaver here to actually get a good target with the Dahlia. Double Strays isn't even that bad though with Lacerate. I guess we kind of are getting some value on that. I'm going to get rid of the Sorceress. We can also play double Trebuchet, which is probably even better than Strays, so we'll get rid of the Strays here. Pavetta not really too amazing to be honest, but it is what it is. And we can start with that card, I think. Not too much of a problem. No! We'll see if we can win the long round. We definitely have some tools to do it with the Okvist, the Lacerate, which, you know, the Okvist definitely goes off, which is very nice. That we can just kill immediately with the Vest, no problem. And we're going to force them into row stacking quite a bit with the Trebuchets. We can play 3 of them as long as they don't get removed, so that's obviously something they're not going to want to play into, and they're going to want to instead row stack. Unless they can maybe deal with everything. So we know they have Serret in hand, but no lock. That's good information to have. Let's play that Trebuchet. And then we'll play a couple more, because why not? And in some ways, it's kind of working similar to the way a Henselt deck might work in terms of making them row stack and, you know, getting value after that point. Oh god. That's pretty painful. Would have been a lot better to see that go down on Okvist. Unfortunate that we lose the value on the Selkirk there. But, you know, it is what it is. We can play another Trebuchet. Obviously, these are kind of like 4-point cards, which isn't too great. But at least we're getting more Lacerate value. Selkirk, not even the end of the world. He won't be doing anything, I think. It's not that bad, since we're going to lose value if he kills a unit for Lacerate anyway. We kind of want to get rid of good cards, though, so what are the cards that we want to give Zeal to? Well, it doesn't really matter giving Zeal to Selkirk anymore, so we probably want to give it to Prince and Sheila, Okvist, whatever. It's a bit awkward because if we play, you know, if we have Okvist in hand, then they can take it. We need to be able to deal with it with Prince, so most likely they're going to be able to steal Prince no matter what we do. We can play Sheila, though. And also proc its effect, because why not? Take that Zeal and just go for a shooty shoot on their guys. We're 10 points up at the moment, which isn't too bad, but we have another couple of crappy plays in hand and they still have their leader, so, you know, we're by no means crushing them at this stage. We know there's no orcs, but, you know, really the locks aren't too dangerous against Foltest when you have all the Zeal, you know, to enable that stuff, so not really the biggest deal. And again, this is kind of the issue we're facing here. We could probably play Selkirk and just get him out of the hand. He's obviously not going to be good or do anything really. But just a bit of a stalling play, I suppose. And then we can maybe go Trebuchet. We're going to, unfortunately, have to kind of give up one of these tools to the opponent's Anna, which you hate to see. And honestly, yeah, a bit of a tricky one. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Anna may in fact be the better leader. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, when you don't have a good Adalia, it feels a bit rough. Triple Trebuchet is it's a bit overkill when you can't actually hit anything with them, potentially. But they are going to fire off the Anna already. Presumably take the Prince. if they find it. Maybe Okvist if they don't, or maybe Okvist anyway. They probably know we can remove it, right? If they know we have Okvist and Prince, then they know we have the answer. And there is the Prince. He's going to come down and just deal his damage. So that's fair enough. They might know about the Lacerate as well, but there's not really that much they can do to play around it. Asaya is good for us because we can actually profit from the trebuchets that we have. So that's not too bad. Selkirk is a sad, sad boy and won't be doing too much here. So we'll just let him chill. Really unfortunate that Shalad hit that instead of Okvist. We would have had quite a few more points if that hadn't happened, but it is what it is, isn't it? And there isn't much we can do about it, I suppose. So, what are we doing now? Well, we could lacerate this, but we're getting more and more value. I kind of don't mind Okvisting now, or Prince. They're both kind of viable plays. Okvist seems okay. I think we'll just take the value on it. Effectively, you know, we might get an extra point or two on it, but we're kind of getting more on the Lacerate or the Prince, right? So probably not worth it. And there is Damien. That's a really nice target for our Prince, so I think we'll just fire that off. Yeah, perfect. We can give it the extra point, doesn't really matter. Need to give him the Zeal, of course, or the boost in some way to actually kill that. Okay, so are we winning this? Not sure. We can get an extra point from Selkirk here. We are pretty far behind, and Okvist is quite scary, but we do, you know, have this Lacerate, which is very powerful. A little cheeky extra point from Selkirk as well doesn't hurt. And yeah, we'll see. Okvist going off for quite a bit of value. Is it enough though? They do need a lot of points to take the game. Gimpy going, not quite going to be enough. We do manage to win the long round, which kind of surprises me, but then again, Lacerate value is huge, and Okvist as well, going off every time is never bad. It's a bit of a showcase of what Foltest can do. Didn't even get to see the absolute Commando shenanigans that can happen with this deck, unfortunately, but you know, maybe play it for yourself, see what you can do in that department. It's definitely fun when it works. Either way, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Do subscribe for more Gwent videos as always. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.